Welcome to the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2020. We're at the Manitoto International Curling Rink in Naseby, Central Otago. We started with 16 teams. We're down to 2. It's Brett Sargon and Mhairi-Bronté Duncan taking on Sean Becker and Bridget Becker. I'm Hans Fraunlob. I'm glad you're along for today's final. It's a fantastic event, always the most competitive on the New Zealand domestic curling calendar. The quality of mixed doubles curling has improved year on year, and this final features it's a classic blend of youth versus experience. There you see Mhairi-Bronté Duncan in the pre-games. Sean Becker and Bridget Becker, they've earned last rock advantage by virtue of being the higher ranked team coming into this final. There's Mhairi-Bronté Duncan, still junior age curler, and this is her first final as in the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. Sean Becker, Bridget Becker, they've been here before. They've won this title 6 times. First time the Mixed Doubles Championship was conducted was in 2007. And so Sean and Bridget have enjoyed an awful lot of success. Brett and Mhairi have actually got last rock advantage, so Bridget Becker gets us underway with the first stone of the first end of this 8-end final. Glad you're with us. Brother Sean on the brush, trying to freeze their stone in front of that yellow stone in mixed doubles curling. Came onto the Olympic program as a full medal sport in 2018. If you've not seen it before, compared to 4-person curling, mixed doubles, the teams play 5 stones, not 8 stones. 2 of the stones are set in stationary positions before the start of the end. So the maximum score in mixed doubles curling on a single end is 6 points. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan with the first stone for her team in this grand final. Because the stationary stones are set, and because you cannot remove stones from play for the first 4 stones of the end, rocks in play accumulate really quickly, and you see a lot of possibilities for high scores. That one's a little bit heavy. Mhairi was looking for that one to be in the front of that red circle, just slid a little bit deep, so good chance here for Sean and Bridget to set themselves up to try and steal the end. In curling, you'll hear people talk a lot about last rock advantage. So the team that throws last theoretically should be able to score a point. So you go into the end with last rock advantage, trying to set yourself up to score 2 or more. If you don't have last rock advantage, you're trying to prevent your opponent from doing that or take the point yourself. In curling, we call that a steal. Here's Sean Becker, New Zealand Olympian. He carried the flag in the 2006 Olympic Winter Games opening ceremonies for New Zealand. Sister Bridget on the sweep. Sean played in his first international event at the age of 20, way back in 1995. He's played in 32 international events for New Zealand over the years. And I know he would absolutely love to go back to another Olympic Games. And New Zealand absolutely has a chance to do that. The qualification process for the Olympics in Beijing involves performance at the 2021 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. New Zealand has qualified a place into that event, so whichever team winds up being selected for New Zealand will have a chance to qualify New Zealand into the Olympics. Here's Brett Sargon trying to do something with the front stone. They don't really like the way things are looking right now, so they're just trying to open a path to the shot rock. There you see the red stone just biting the front of that white center button. The basic way that you score in curling, you get your stone closest to the middle, and you get a point for every stone you've got closer than your opponent. So right now, the red team, Sean and Bridget, are lying in shot rock position, just biting that front button. So they're starting the game well. Brett and Mhairi with last rock, but Sean and Bridget setting up for a potential steal. In mixed doubles, as we mentioned, each team throws 5 stones. One player throws the first and 5th stone of the end, and the other player throws the 2nd and 3rd and 4th stones of the end. The teams can alter that rotation every end if they want to. You see some teams choosing to switch end to end, but you don't have to. Trying to throw a guard stone here, trying to defend that shot stone on the front of the button. Ice conditions here in Naseby this week have been absolutely excellent. Lots of pace to the ice, lots of curl, but there we can see on our overhead shot, not completely guarding those 2 red stones, so a chance here for Brett and Mhairi to turn the end around, a potential double takeout here. If Brett can get all the way to the nose of that top stone. Chance to kill 2, but it's not a shot without risk because there's all kinds of stones behind that are potential jam shots. Brett Sargon from Auckland. Throwing an upweight shot, trying to drive the front red stone into the pile. Is he by the guard? Yes, he's by the guard. What kind of angles he got? He's got 1, but he does jam the back shot. Does unlock them a little bit and improves the situation a little bit for Mhairi and Brett. Sean and Bridget still lying a single shot. I mentioned that Sean and Bridget have won this title 6 times. Bridget has actually won it 8 times because she's won it 6 times with brother Sean. She's won it 2 more times with brother Scott. So Bridget is actually an 8-time national mixed doubles champion. It's unbelievable. Sean Becker. Again, looking to line up and throw a guard stone or a front stone. Purpose of sweeping. Carries the stone further. It reduces the amount that the stone decelerates, and so it can, good sweeping can carry a stone as many as 2 to 3 meters on quick ice. This stone over curls. He's trying to guard the shot rock, but you can see that it's just over curled by about 1 rock width. So good chance here for Brett and Mhairi. They've got access to the shot rock. About 6 feet of curl, according to the competitors. That's the amount of curve that the stone goes through down the 45-meter trip. And on ice that's curling that much, it can be very difficult to place guards perfectly because there's a lot of late movement as the stone comes to rest. So, big chance here. Let's start in lining it up. Both of these athletes, Brett and Mhairi, have enormously invested in their own curling development. Brett went overseas to Canada for an entire year to improve his curling development. Nice hit and an inside roll, maybe a bit too far, so maybe left red line shot. He was looking to roll behind his red center guards. Let's have another look on the replay. Got the hit, but it rolls just a fraction too far. But it definitely improves the situation. Bridget Becker now lining it up. She knows that she'll need to get one into a pretty good place here, otherwise there's a risk of dropping a couple, maybe 3. First end of play, 8-end game. It's the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. Bridget gliding out on those Teflon sliders, special shoes that the athletes wear. Ice is slippery enough, but by the time you put a Teflon slider onto ice, and we're gliding. Trying to get one into second shot position, but it's going to come up just short. So, There is a shot here, potentially for 3 if they're game enough to try it. You can see the redstone in shot position, but it is available. If Mhairi can get to the inside of that with quiet weight, it's a chance for 3 and maybe 4. That's the thing about mixed doubles. The rocks accumulate, and if you don't leave them in good positions, the team with the last rock can get a pile. Sean and Bridget in their semifinal game scored a 5, which turned their game around against Ben and Jessica Smith. And here's a big chance here for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan to get them away to the best possible start. Got it. Oh, fantastic stone from Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. Picks out the red, sticks around, and bango, it's 4. Wow. Terrific shot. Sean and Bridget paid the price by not getting that final stone in, and Mhairi-Bronté Duncan with an absolute pistol on her final shot. Picks off the red, sticks around, and it's a huge 4-point end right out of the gate. Here we see after one end of play, Brett Sargon, Mhairi-Bronté Duncan up 4-0 over Sean and Bridget Becker. Terrific start to this match, but one thing about mixed doubles curling, there's no such thing as a safe lead. You can score in bunches. So even though it's a huge start for Sargon and Duncan, they won't be thinking, let's defend this all the way to the end, because they know as soon as you concede last rock advantage to your opponent, that 4 can come right back at you in a hurry. But it's definitely the start you want to have. I mentioned how Brett invested in his own curling development by spending a season in Canada. Mhairi did the same thing. She actually spent the beginning of this last Northern Hemisphere season in Sweden at the Sundbyberg Curling Club. As part of now a program that's been instituted by national coach Peter Becker to give opportunities for young New Zealand curlers to spend a season overseas in other curling nations, and Mhairi got to train with literally the best in the world. The Sundbyberg Curling Club is the home curling club of Swedish women's Olympic champion Anna Hasselborg, and Mhairi has come back to New Zealand a much improved athlete, and you can see that paying off here, reaching the final, her first national final along with Brett. Becker's trying to line stones up. Would have liked that perfectly frozen, but just a small nudge there. In mixed doubles curling, you really want to control that button area, that area where that silver fern is, that white center button area. If you control the front of the button, you're usually in decent shape. But you slide past it, you're just giving your opponent stones to draw up to and rest against. Sargon now trying his attempt at a draw, but this one is hanging out wide and heavy. Glances off his own. Sits in the front of that white 8-foot circle, but now it's the Beckers with a chance to regain some of that momentum that they lost in the first end. They're lying 2 now, and they've got last rock here in the first as Brett and Mhairi compare notes. Playing mixed doubles curling is like walking a tightrope. Every step along the way can be terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. Things can change in a heartbeat. Sean and Bridget reached the final by virtue of defeating the incumbent national champions, Jess and Ben Smith, in a tight contest. That was an 11-8 semifinal victory. an enormously experienced Sean Becker, he'll know that this is a huge opportunity to crank up the pressure if he can wedge one in here. Maybe a fraction heavy again. This is very quick this week. So red line 3, that's the good news for Team Becker. I would have liked to just stop right about there, but it's about a foot heavy. And all things considered, not bad. You can see Brett patting his broom immediately, saying we need to get one in front of those red stones. See how quickly the stones accumulate. Red has last rock. They lie 3. Sean and Bridget sizing things up. Anticipating what this shot is going to be, already discussing what they're going to play in response. No one's thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead. Trying to set yourself up for the best possible stone on your final shot. Brett Sargon, this is a big one. A little wide, a little heavy with his first one. Needs to get this stone in a good place to dampen down the pressure a little bit. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan trying to carry it, but it's going to just, again, glance that front stone. Leaves the Beckers lying 3, and the door is open now for a potential huge end. The good news for Sargon and Duncan is the yellow stones are usable. They could promote those into the pile, but definitely not what they were looking for there. Sean and Bridget know the danger of those yellow stones in the front. They're in a great position now, but they know that those yellow stones are usable by their opponent. It looks to me like Sean would like to neutralize those yellow stones somehow. Just by his hand gesture, it looked like he was thinking about, well, do I just bang that yellow one on the nose and try to kill 2 of them? That would be a really risky play, so it is going to be a draw. This is definitely a safer play. There's lots of room to get another one into the 4-foot around this out-turn side, and he joins Sister Bridget on the sweep. Perfect spot here would be full in the red 4-foot, half behind that center guard. Trying to draw it up there as the 4th shot. This looks like an absolute beauty. It is. Fantastic stone there from Sean Becker. Position A, great shot. Turning up the heat. Welds it front button. Couldn't have carried it down any better. That's a great spot. So after dropping 4 in the first, Sean and Bridget Becker, things are looking pretty strong to answer that 4 with 4 of their own and maybe more. If you like offense, mixed doubles curling is your game. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan holding the brush target line here. That says to me that Brett is going to try to throw some weight at that yellowstone and drive it into the reds. Definitely damage control time now. At this point, with this rock formation, you're saying we're probably going to drop 2, but boy, we don't want to drop 4 or 5. Let's try to cut them down a bit. Well, he got a little bit of good fortune. He redirected off of the raised stone. Did kill 2, so in terms of damage control, mission accomplished. Just see it glancing off of that right-hand yellowstone, redirects it onto the shot rocks, kills 2 of them. So it's definitely a better situation, but still a great chance for Sean and Bridget Becker. 3 is still on, 4 is still on. Line 2. Well protected. And Sean Becker make that terrific come-around draw on his last stone. He's basically going to try to throw the same shot. Draw around the guards to the front button behind cover, lie 3. He's just watching the line. That means he's probably not that concerned about the weight. Now he's joining the sweep. You do want to get third shot. No, it's come up just a foot short. See it being out-counted by that yellow stone on the right of our picture. Red lies 2 there. We're really wanting to get that stone up for third shot. That would have really increased the pressure on Sargon and Duncan. Comes up just a foot short, so great chance here for Duncan and Sargon to perhaps tap their own stone forward about 4 feet. We saw the terrific shot that Mhairi made on her final stone of the first end to pick off a stone and score 4. Chance here for an entirely different kind of shot. Just a delicate finesse tap. But if she could make it, could take the Beckers out of the end. The Beckers do have last rock, however. Duncan on her in turn, right-hander. Just trying to promote her stone forward about 4 feet. Line and weight are critical. Sargon trying to hold the line. Now it's all about the line. Is it too heavy? Actually could have let that curl another foot. It's a bit of a misread on the sweeping line, unfortunately for them. They did promote their stone into second shot position, but yeah, just a misread there. That was a really well thrown shot, but it was actually overswept a fraction. That stone curls another half a centimeter. That yellow promoted stone would have gone directly back onto the shot rocks. Instead, they tap it on an angle. And there's a chance here for Bridget Becker, I think, to get at it and potentially score 3. Definitely a straightforward shot for 2. So last stone about to be thrown here in this second end of play in the grand final. We're live from the Maniatoto International Curling Rink in Naseby in Central Otago. It's the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2020. Glad you're with us. Pretty close for second shot. I think it's yellow. I think red is lying 1 right now. So this looks to be a draw for an attempted 2. Bridget Becker. Sean Becker backs away from it. We saw one of Brett's track a little bit wide, but this one also a little bit heavy. Now it's coming to rest. And she gets the job done. So it is a count of 2 for Bridget and Sean Becker. There we see Sean confirming. 2 points it is. So they've halved the deficit. Mhairi-Bronté, Duncan, Brett Sargon now lead it 4-2, and they will take last rock advantage into end number 3 of this 8-end final. Pretty good result, all things considered, for Sargon and Duncan. Things were looking pretty sketchy mid-end. And a couple of nice little bailout shots. Mhairi-Bronté, Duncan with a little tap to get a stone into a threatening position. Brett Sargon killing a couple of stones, reduce the damage, and now they get last rock again in end number 4. End number 3, apologies. Each team has 1 power play to use throughout the game. When the situation comes up, I'll describe what a power play is about, but it's a different pre-end rock formation that gives the attacking team a higher chance of scoring multiple points. You can only use it when you've got last rock. Teams tend to keep the power play in their pocket for the second half of the game and try to use it in the most advantageous situation. Standard formation here. Trying to freeze in front of that yellow stone. Sean Becker, really strong sweeper. Terrific shot by Bridget Becker. You see controlling that front of the 4-foot red circle. It's a very annoying place if you're Brett and Mhairi. It's a stone you have to deal with. If you're a fan of curling writing, I'd encourage you to look up Mhairi's curling blog. She wrote a fantastic series of blog articles when she was in Sweden, talking about her experiences there, talking about what she learned about ice making, ice preparation. Fantastically entertaining. Looking to corner freeze the top stone, just gave it a little bump. Pretty good spot. Sean Becker has competed for New Zealand, the World Men's Championship, 5 times. He and Bridget won the silver medal at the 2010 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Chelyabinsk, Russia. That's the best ever finish at World Mixed Doubles by a New Zealand team. New Zealand has had a pretty good record of success at World Mixed Doubles. Besides Sean and Bridget silver. New Zealand teams have made playoffs and performed creditably, so the Olympic Games are definitely a goal of New Zealand curling in mixed doubles. And you see just a little angle tap again, just nudging the stones around. Yellow stones belong to Brett and Mhairi. They've got last rock here in the third. Last 2 stones just nudging that red stone in the front button just slightly off the center line, and that improves the situation quite a lot for Brett and Mhairi. They've got some options now to get to the center of the house. That's what we call the rings. Curlers call that the house. Terrific competition, this New Zealand Mixed Doubles Championship. A wide range of current champions, former champions, junior curlers, teams on the rise, experienced players. At the start of the week when I looked at the field, I said there's 6 teams, any one of them could win. 2 of those 6 have made it here to the grand final. And anybody's guess who's going to be the champion. Sargon trying to get rid of that red stone. Just punches it straight back. You can see that Brett and Mhairi are controlling the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at it from behind. And removing that red stone. They've got last rock here in the third. All of a sudden there's only one lonely red stone in the rings. So the danger signs are starting to flash a little bit for Team Becker. The situation isn't quite as dire as the situation that Brett and Mhairi were facing in the last end, so you don't have to go into damage limitation mode yet, but you got to be pretty careful. You want to get another stone in there, or at least remove one of the opponent's stones. Remember, each team only delivers 5 shots each, so you don't have a lot of time to try and set things up. You have to make your moves and decisions relatively early in the end and be pretty decisive about it. Not much time to throw a speculator to see what might happen. And Becker is electing to throw another stone in there. This is another way to try and reduce the risk of dropping a big end, is to wedge one of your own into there somewhere. Does come up maybe a fraction short. Not a bad stone, but in the end very much alive for Brett Sargon and Mhairi-Bronté Duncan in their first ever final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Championship. We mentioned the 2021 World Championships that we all hope will go as scheduled in April 2021. New Zealand Curling has elected a trials competition to choose its national representative at the Worlds. Both of these teams, by virtue of qualifying for the final, have made it to the trials. And the third team that will compete in the trials will be Ben and Jessica Smith, the defending national champions, who reached the semifinals, which was the goal that they had to achieve to qualify for the trials. That's a jam. Hoping for this stone to curl maybe another quarter of a rock. But he does unlock the stone at the back of the ring, so even though red is line one, there's a bit of danger here for Sean and Bridget. A good chance here if Sean can hit half a rock on the inside, roll to the inside behind the pile, they could wind up line two guarded. Wherever you're joining us around the world today, we're glad you're with us. And we've got some fans watching in Australia. The Australian curling fraternity are very familiar with the Naseby rink because there isn't a dedicated curling facility anywhere in Australia. The Aussies often come over to New Zealand to hold their national competitions, and so you know there's a few Australian curlers watching today. Oh, very nice shot there from Sean Becker. Big weight. That's really his signature shot. Sean can throw big weight with accuracy, and a little fist bump there from Sister Bridget. Hits half, gets the inside roll, pushes the yellow shooter sideways out of the 8-foot circle to leave themselves lying three guarded. Great shot. Being able to throw big weight, big takeout weight accurately. It's a real weapon in this sport, and especially in mixed doubles curling, because you don't have two sweepers with you all the time. Accuracy is everything when you're throwing a big weight takeout, because your sweepers can't save your line the way that they can in mixed or in four-player curling. And Sean is one of the best. So now the gear shifts a little bit for Sargon and Duncan. Now you're starting to think about scoring as opposed to scoring multiples. Now it's Brett's turn to throw some up weight. Kills one. Well, got a little break there, a little redirect again. And that's a great result. Kills two. Leaves red line one, but again, you can see those yellow stones accumulate. Watch the redirection here on contact. Watch the red stone just glance the stone at the top of the button right there. Changes the angle onto the back stone, pops it out sideways, and so no straight back jam, pushes the shot stone into the open. Red lying one, but there you see 2, 3, 4 belonging to Sargon and Duncan. They've got the hammer here in the fourth, so as a setup shot goes, that is about as well as you could do. Really elevates the risk here for Sean and Bridget Becker. Throwing the last stone of the end. The pressure is always on, especially when you have to bail your own team out. And this is absolutely one of those situations for Bridget Becker. Just one lonely red stone in the rings right now. Trying to improve it here. Brother Sean trying to sweep this stone into second shot position behind cover. Reduce the risk of dropping a big end. And that is a very nice shot from Bridget Becker. Under pressure, she delivers. Welds it in there, right behind cover. Huge, huge shot there from Bridget. You can see the acknowledgement from Mhairi and Brett. You just tip your cap and say, great shot, Bridget. Because she's got that stone behind cover, now the chance of playing for 3 or 4 is pretty much gone, and you have to settle for a 1. There is a high-risk shot that they could try to get 2 or 3. You could try to angle promote the yellow onto red, but that's a high-risk shot. Brett is having a look at it. You're kind of weighing up the risk and the reward here. If you try that high-risk shot and you wind up dropping 2, you say, well, is it worth it? If we tried the high-risk shot, drop 2, then we're tied. We still have last rock. If we make it, maybe we're up 8-2. So, big moment here in this game. They are going to give it a try. Well, buckle up, folks. Here we go. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan going to try an angle raise double takeout for a big end. Not laying a brush to it yet. Trying to drive yellow onto red. Just doesn't curl enough, so it's a steal of 2. The gamble does not pay off for Duncan and Sargon. The veterans, Sean and Bridget Becker, steal a pair after that great final stone from Bridget Becker to set it up. And after 3 ends of play in this grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2020, we are all tied up at 4. Big turnaround in that one. After weighing up the decision, do you go for it? Do you go for the big end, or you go for safety and just scoring? Sargon and Duncan said, let's try for the big end. Just didn't quite come off. Needed to hit that promoted stone a little thicker. It was a tough shot, but it was there. They'll maintain last rock advantage here into the 4th. We're all tied up at 4. Who's it going to be? Who is going to be the national champion of New Zealand? Anybody's game. First stone of the end. Again, no power play being used yet. We're approaching the midpoint in this 8-end final. And Bridget looks to be locking in her draw weight. Made that terrific come-around draw on her last stone of the previous end. Nice first stone there, owning the button, sitting right in front of the opponent's stone in the back of that red 4-foot circle. Great start. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan looking to answer back with a draw of her own. Great angle there. You can see the stone curving as it approaches the target area. Brett Sargon looking at the line. Safely by the guard. Now they're looking for it to just finish a little bit. Very nice shot. Opening up the scoring area a little bit, pushing that yellow stone to the back of the rings. And you can see just back 8-foot weight, just pushing the stones around a bit. Duncan and Sargon. We've got last rock here in the fourth. They opened the game with a huge 4-point end in the first. Sean and Bridget Becker answered back with a pair in the second, stole a pair in the third, and that's where we are as we play the fourth. Talked about the playing conditions here in Naseby. Ice conditions have been terrific. This curling facility opened in 2005. It's been the venue for many high-profile curling events over the years. The World Qualifying event for the World Championship has been held here. New Zealand Winter Games events have been held here. Pacific Asia Championships have been held here. And of course, the National Championships of New Zealand curling have been held here. That's Sargon. Throwing some weight again, looking to blast the stones and rearrange them a bit. Is he by the front one? Just clips it, opens it up. Removing that center guard does change the complexion of the end quite a lot. Now there's nothing to hide behind. So the decision for the family firm of Becker and Becker, you put the guard back, you bring the stone into the rings. See the brush pad from Sean saying, yeah, I think we want to put it there, Bid. Bid saying, yeah, but what about if we draw it into the button? Did see early in the game that Sean and Bridget did struggle a bit to get great line on guards. That was very early in the game, and they look very dialed in right now. Brett and Mhairi looking on. They've got last rock here in the fourth. They had a very tough semifinal game against Dave Watt and Courtney Smith. Steal the eighth end to win that game, get themselves here to the final. Sean Becker. Good looking stone here from Sean. Welds it right on top of his own stone onto the button. Great shot. By freezing it like that, it makes it really, really difficult. There's a smile from Bridget. Almost impossible to move them. You have to spend 2 shots to unlock the button. Might be easier, and Brett's taking a look at it, to hit the top stone on an angle. Might be able to pop them off that way. Bridget and Sean were the last New Zealand representatives at the last World Mixed Doubles Championship to be played, which was 2019 in Stavanger, Norway. They finished top 16, so that's what's earned New Zealand a place into the 2021 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championships. They would love to be the New Zealand reps again, but they will have to win the selection trial series, which will involve them. Along with Brett and Mhairi, and Ben and Jessica Smith. Trying to get one locked on front. Oh, you got a very nice shot there from Brett Sargon. was going to be impossible to get shot rock from that stone, but they were just trying to unlock the stones on the button. You see those two red stones, really no way into the button before this shot, but now unlocks the back. And all of a sudden, the yellow team has a chance here to generate a bit of offense. The way the stones are angled are actually pretty good for Brett and Mhairi. See that top red stone left of our screen? You can actually hit that hard right now if you're Brett and Mhairi. Pop both the reds off and leave yourself flying 3. There's a nice setup shot there from Brett Sargon. So, Sean Becker, what have you got? See the stopwatch dangling from the waistband of Sean. Teams will use stopwatches to judge the pace of the ice. He jumps up immediately to sweep this one. That tells me he thinks his delivery's inside his target line. Trying to hit the yellow, but is it over curling? Yes, it does. Hits his own. Spills. Oh, speaking of spills, Mhairi takes a spill. He's okay. That's a mistake there from Sean Becker. He's trying to hit the yellow stone, but he threw it narrow. Over curls, takes his own rock out, spills across. He also takes out Mhairi. She's okay. Drills and spills aplenty here at Naseby. So now a great chance for Sargon and Duncan. Get some momentum back. Mhairi's just making sure all the wheels are okay after that little tumble. Flexing her wrist a little bit there. I do hope that she didn't injure herself. Totally unintentional, just an incidental contact as Sean was just trying to clear the area. And Mhairi was coming in, getting ready to sweep a stone in motion, and down she went. But good chance here for Sargon and Duncan to move rocks around. No, is this one going to overcurl? Well, mistake to mistake. Becker narrow with his takeout, Sargon narrow with his. And it's a bit of a let-off for Sean and Bridget Becker. Trying to promote the yellow onto the red, but it overcurls. Drives it past the red, leaves red lying 1. Possible opportunity lost for Duncan and Sargon to get their 2 or 3 in this end as a result. Bridget Becker lining it up. You see the starting blocks there. In curling, we call those the hacks. It's like starting blocks that a sprinter would use. It gives you grip as you push yourself out. She's throwing big weight. She's going to be trying to remove at least one of the yellow stones. And she's leaping up to sweep. And she's been narrow on her delivery. Well, she holds the line well. Rolls behind her own shot. Pretty good result there. There is a potential 2 on here, though, for Sargon and Duncan. And we see Bridget Becker throws the shot, leaps up, sweeps it coast to coast, rolls in behind her own shot rock. Fly 2. So there's a tough but makeable double here. Double takeout for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. Chance to score 2. But it is not easy. She's not going to be able to hit it on the nose because it will jam on the stone directly behind. So her contact point, she needs to hit about 2/3 on the brush side. And if she does that, she's going to have to stick around as well to score more than 1. So delicate shot here, even though there's a lot of weight being thrown on it. Really only has 1 point of contact that's going to get them 2. This stone also over curling. Oh my goodness, it goes by everything, and it's a steal of 2. Oh my goodness. Well, what a bunch of changes of direction in this fourth end. Some missed takeout opportunities from both teams, and the end result is a steal of 2 for Bridget and Sean Becker. And for the first time in the game, they go in front at the midpoint of this 8-end grand final. Sean Becker and Bridget Becker, 6. Brett Sargon, Mhairi-Bronté Duncan, 4. Midpoint of the game. There's a 4-minute rest period. It's probably about the right time for Brett and Mara. You can see her holding her wrist. She did take that fall, and I am a bit worried that perhaps she's injured herself. She's definitely favoring it. And, don't know if that affects her delivery. There we see one of the shots. There was an opportunity there to make a raised takeout to lie 3. Offline. Creates a let off. That one a little bit narrow from Sean Becker. And there we see the tumble that created what we believe is a bit of a wrist injury here for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. A bit of an ice pack on there now, so hopefully she can persevere for the second half of the game. I hate to see injury affecting anybody in any sport. Fifth end coming up is going to be very important for this young team. Started the game with a hiss and a roar. Scored 4 in the first end. But the veterans, Sean and Bridget Becker, came back with a pair in the second. And from there, the momentum has really shifted. Bridget Becker made a terrific come-around shot to set up a steal of 2 in the third end. And then in that fourth end, we saw it go back and forth, and then a miss on the final stone from Mhairi gave another steal to brothers Sean and Bridget Becker. And that puts them in front 6-4, and that's where we stand at the halfway point of the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championships live at the Mhairi-Bronté International Curling Rink in Naseby, Central Otago. Halfway home, 4 ends to come. Glad you're with us. We've got folks from all around the world following this one. Wherever you're watching today, we're really, really glad that you're with us. Sunday afternoon here in New Zealand. We're aware that we've got people tuned in from literally around the world. And in this unbelievable year of 2020, when so much live sport has just been altered or just not happening, we're glad that you're able to enjoy this live competition here from Naseby National Championship. I get the feeling that this fifth end is going to be a really, really key end for Duncan and Sargon. Need to change the dynamic a little bit. Almost wondered about whether they'd even think about using their power play now, just to change the dynamic of the game a little bit. They're keeping the standard configuration, so they're not elected to use their power play yet. Sean and Bridget Becker also still have their power play yet to use. The first World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship was held in 2008. Mixed doubles officially got added to the Olympic program as a full medal sport in 2015. 2018, the Pyeongchang Olympics were the debut of Olympic mixed doubles curling, and it was an immediate hit. It was one of the highlights of the Pyeongchang Winter Games. Fans around the world were seeing this discipline for the first time in the Olympics, and they loved it. The mixed doubles field was 8 nations in Pyeongchang. For the upcoming Beijing Olympics, that field has been expanded to 10. China, of course, receives an entry as the host nation. 9 other nations will qualify. 7 of them will qualify through results at the upcoming World Mixed Doubles Championships. We mentioned New Zealand does have an entry into that event, so they do have a chance to directly qualify for the Olympic Games. And then late in 2021, there will be a final Olympic qualifying event for the final 2 places in the field for Beijing. So New Zealand has actually 2 chances to qualify a team in to the Beijing mixed doubles curling event. New Zealand has only ever competed in the Olympics once in curling, and this man, Sean Becker, was part of that team in 2006. Will this upcoming Olympics be the next occasion for a New Zealand team to compete for Olympic glory? Bridget Becker trying to sweep this stone around that stone in the top 8 foot. It's just over curling a fraction. Yellow stationary stone, back of the 4 foot, counting 1. See how quickly the stones accumulate along that center line. Sargon. The pads on the brushes that the teams are using to sweep are uniform fabric. And all the brushes are a yellow mustardy color. That's a standardized fabric used by all curlers in the sport. WCF, World Curling Federation sanctioned events. That stone comes to rest just full in the blue 12-foot circle. Would have liked that stone in around those red stones to be second shot. Just over curling a fraction, and you can already see Sean Becker lining it up. He knows that's a dangerous stone. They don't want to leave it there. A takeout attempt coming for Sean Becker. Trying to remove that yellow stone. Love a tiny inside roll. He won't mind too much if he gets it right on the nose. Well, drives it on an angle, picks off his own, so bit of a mistake there from Becker. Got rid of the target rock, but just a little bit wide. Kills his own shot rock and leaves the red line too guarded. Trying to hit this one right on the nose. You can see as it comes into shot, just hits it a little bit on the high side and drives it into his own shot rock. Spills the target rock out of the rings and leaves red line too. So could this be the chance for Sargon and Duncan to swing the momentum around and get themselves back in front in this game? Fifth end of play in this 8-end contest. Important stone here if you're going to try to score 2 or 3. apologies, it wasn't an error at all from Sean Becker. He killed the opponent's stones and he left himself lying too, so it's actually a terrific position for Becker and Becker. My apologies. Remove 2. Leave themselves lying 2. That stone coming up short, so a great situation here for Becker and Becker. Showing the big weight hit. Now it's the down weight come around draw. Trying to tuck another one behind all that pile of stones in the front rings. Good looking stone here. Trying to wrap it around the pile. Fantastic. Great shot from Sean Becker. When the sweeper is going on and off like that, you know the weight is just about right, and it's just a question about the line of the rock, and this one is an absolute beauty. Tucks half behind cover, sitting in front of that tee line. Red lies 3. And Sargon and Duncan are in trouble. This now turns into a situation where you really have no other option but to run the guards back into the pile and hope that something good happens. No other way to get to the button. The angles are not great on the raises, however. Even if you run the front yellow back into the yellow, you're still going to leave your opponent lying 1, even if you make it great, and you're going to leave a guard out there in the process. So it's not a happy situation here for Brett and Mhairi. At this point, ironically, even though you've got last rock, you are now in damage limitation time. Now you're just trying to figure out how can we score. You don't want to drop another steal here. In last rock, you're trying to get 2 or more, but that thought is out the window now. Now it's how do we actually create a situation where we actually have a chance to score? If you don't do something with the front stones now, and you try to draw one in there to set it up, and you don't make it, Sean and Bridget probably just throw another guard, shut the door, and you've really got nothing for your last shot. So this stone is all about trying to create something for Mhairi's final stone. Big weight, trying to disturb the pile. That's not bad. Leaves red lying 2, but at least there's some options for the final stone that weren't there a minute ago. Pretty good shot. Now yellow could promote their own stone in the front. They could hit and roll off the second shot. See Sean Becker looking at that stone and says, yep, that's one they can use. Put it there. What Becker and Becker are looking at is what's the easiest shot they have and how do we take it away? Right now, all the momentum is with the 6-time national champions, Sean and Bridget Becker. It has been a few years since they've won this title. Looking to get back to the top of the podium. Already line 2. Bridget Becker. She's playing quiet weight. Not sure if he's trying to throw in there for third shot or just trying to throw a guard. We'll know in a moment. Brother Sean working hard on the brush. He's trying to take that raise away, and they've done that. Very nice shot from Bridget Becker. Makes it difficult now for Brett and Mhairi to promote the yellow straight back for shot with that guard. And she's also covered enough of the shot rock that a thin double takeout has been taken away as well. So that's a very good guard from Bridget Becker. She's actually guarded 2 different options with 1 shot. No easy options here. Brett still wants to give that one a try. Skinny past the guard that Bridget just threw with maybe board weight to try to get 2. I don't think that shot's there. Now Brett's saying, well, do we just draw? There are no good options here. She could hit the stone on the right-hand side of our screen and roll to the back of the button to score 1. That's a tough shot, but it's there. She could just draw to the button for 1. That's probably the most straightforward way to score, and that's what they seem to be playing. But she's got to get by the guards. She's got to have perfect weight, and she's going to need to get a piece of the button just to score a single point. Huge pressure on this shot. Trying to steady the ship. Haven't scored since the first end. Trying to turn the momentum around, but boy, oh boy, what a difficult final shot for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. Needs to draw around guards, getting a piece of the button just to score a single point. Sargon is in charge of determining distance. Line looks great. How's the weight? Needs a piece of the button to score, and look at that. Oh, just a foot short. My goodness. Disappointment for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan and Brett Sargon. That looked great, but it only comes up just a few centimeters short. Line was excellent. Brett watched the stone for a fair distance down the trip and just misjudged the sweeping a whisker, and look at that. Just that much difference means a score of a single point for Sean and Bridget Becker. Another steal, putting them now in front by a 7-4 score. That close. Centimeters in it. And there's confirmation. After 5 ends of play in this 8-end game, Sean Becker and Bridget Becker now lead at 7-4, and now we see the power play. Sargon and Duncan trailing by 3, saying this is the time that we have to use our power play. You see the red square on the scoreboard indicating that they've elected to set up in the power play alignment here in end number 6, and boy, do they need a big end now to get themselves back into this game. The difference in the power play, the stationary stones, you'll notice when the stone comes into the scoring area, are set up over on the side of the sheet as opposed to the center of the sheet. This positioning gives even greater advantage to the team with last rock. You can see that the yellow stone is in front of the tee line as opposed to behind the tee line. It's behind a guard that's on the side. All of that means that the chance of scoring 2 or more is much higher in this setup than it is in the standard center formation. Lots of theories from teams without the power play how best to defend against it. Some teams try to make a play to reposition the guard stone. Other teams elect to draw a stone into the center of the rings. The scoreboard has a lot to do with how you try to defend it. One thing we know for sure, Brett and Mhairi need a big end. Stone, will it stick around the back? It just does. The stone just needs to be touching a piece of that outermost blue ring to be eligible to score a point. It has just hung on, so. It's a good start for Duncan and Sargon in their quest to try and get a 3 or a 4. What will Sean Becker play in response? Looks to be coming down a similar path to Sister Bridget, playing a draw stone into the center of the rings. Remember, in mixed doubles curling, you cannot remove stones until the 4th stone of the end. You can reposition them, but you can't remove them from play. So this is a bit of the mixed doubles, a curling equivalent of a game of chicken. Who's going to blink? Duncan and Sargon, they want to play out to the side of the rings behind the corner guards. Becker and Becker, they want to play in the center, away from the corner guards. If either team makes a mistake, the other could pounce. The Beckers could continue their role of steals, or if they make a half error, Duncan and Sargon could make a double takeout and score 3 or 4. And that's what the power play brings into the equation. Moving stones around. Playing end number 6 of this 8-end grand final. We're live in Naseby at the Maniatoto International Curling Rink. 16 teams started this competition. We're now down to 2. Some excellent competition, and as usual at the New Zealand Nationals. Power play in use by Brett Sargon and Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. Yellow stones are theirs. They really needed 2 in the worst way to get themselves back into this game. Nose hit. And that opened the door for Brett and Mhairi. Looking for a little inside roll on that one, but it over curls and nose hits. Really important that when you get a half error like that to immediately follow up and punish the error. So a big shot here for Brett. You don't get many chances against a team of this quality, and you have to make the most of every chance you get. Chance to lie three. Can they get cover as well? Looking for a little roll behind that guard. Gets the roll, doesn't quite get cover, but they do lie three, and they're well separated. So a good chance here for Duncan and Sargon. Always looking to remove that redstone. We're looking to roll behind cover as well. Might have hidden a corner. There's a great look at it, yes. But enough of the rock is available for Sean Becker to make a play at it. The question will be, well, Bridget just tells us that's the play. Hit it on the inside. Roll to the left of our picture as we're looking at it. Try to get in front of that stone at the back ring. Trying to take three out of the equation. Sean's up on the sweep quickly. Looking for that inside roll. Isn't going to get it. Right to the nose. So now it's the chance potentially for Sargon and Duncan to get that roll themselves. If they could ever roll behind the corner guard to lie three guarded, and all of a sudden immediately get a chance to score four. Hit and rolls to specific places, though, are really tough shots. When you're down three in the grand final of a national championship, you're trying for everything you can get. Quiet wait, trying to control the roll. Yeah, pretty much a nose-for-nose situation there, so it sits in the open for Bridget Becker. She'll have a play on it, and you can see Sean saying, yeah, now we can get two different rolls here, Brid. Can roll to the inside, can roll to the outside. A couple of ways to get behind cover now for Bridget Becker. She's made some fantastic draw shots to give her team the momentum here and set up some steals. Now she's throwing a hit. Can Bridget make a good hit and roll? Looking for cover somewhere. Needs to get by that guard. Just squeaks by, gets a great roll. Nice shot, Bridget Becker. Looking a little sketchy for a minute there. I thought she might clip the guard. That would have been disaster, but she gets by, gets the inside roll. Did she pop into the open on the intern side? Good shot, though. Oh, there you see. It's at least three-quarter buried. That is a terrific result for Bridget Becker. No real chance for Mhairi to get at that shot on the intern side and pick it out. Oh, that's a terrific result for Bridget Becker. She's on fire. Mhairi's having a look at it. They know in their heart of hearts that scoring one here doesn't really do it for them. So you're willing to take a little bit extra risk to get your two, but you don't want to be insane about that risk if it's just not there. Scoring is more important than dropping a steal. Dropping a steal here would be nearly fatal. It would put Becker and Becker 4 up with control of the even ends with 2 to play. Scoring here is really important. But of course they want more than one. How good was that roll? Changes the situation entirely. Instead of this being a shot for 3, now it's either a toughest shot for 1 or a really high degree of difficulty shot for 2. And they are going to try the shot for 2. They're going to try to skinny the guard and pick out the shot. Tough, tough shot. Just squeak by that guard. It's over curling, clips the guard, pushes it in, and it is another steal for Team Becker. I don't fault the shot choice. You had to try something, but a terrific hit and roll by Bridget Becker sets up yet another steal for Sean and Bridget Becker, pushing them into an 8-4 lead after 6 in this grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2020. The veteran savvy of the brother and sister combination, Sean and Bridget Becker, shining to the fore. Some clutch shooting at crunch time. As you see, Mhairi, she took a tumble early in the game through some accidental contact, and she's obviously in some pain. It's favoring her wrist and looks to have bruised her knee as well. We hate to see that. Still a smile on her face. But now the situation, Sean and Bridget Becker firmly in control of this game with 2 ends to play. Sargon and Duncan have used their power play now. They only have 1. They cannot use another one. Sean and Bridget still have their power play in their pocket. And they'll be thinking, in this situation, we're happy to give up 1. We're probably even happy to give up 2, because we will have last rock in the 8th end. We could use our power play and keep the center open, and that would be a great situation to try and put this championship away. Bridget Becker, what a game she's had this afternoon. So important to really wire that first stone of the end and own the front of the button. And Bridget is really dialed in. She has made some terrific shots today. Sean has as well. Right now they're full value for their 8-4 lead. Brett Sargon, Mhairi-Bronté, Duncan trying to get something going. They started this game unbelievably. They scored 4 in the first end. But since then, it's really been one-way traffic. They've had opportunities, but just haven't been able to capitalize on them. The veterans, Sean and Bridget Becker, taking advantage of those small errors to keep the pressure on. And it's been a steal fest, really, since the second end. And it's setting up to be that yet again. These two have played together in so many competitions over the years. They're very, very familiar with all of the different types of game situations and how to play them, how to play the scoreboard. Doesn't matter how many you win by, it's win-loss. And right now you're 4 points up. Your lying shot, 2 ends to play. And now you can basically lock the door on your opponent by just guarding the rest of the end out. Worst case, maybe conceding one or two. The only thing you don't want to do in this situation if you're Becker and Becker is let yellow stones accumulate in the rings. That represents the potential for a circus shot that could score a big end. Brett and Mhairi will know that too. They know that if they're going to get into this game, they need to accumulate lots of stones. They're going to need a 3 to get themselves into it. So they won't be looking to remove stones with weight. They'll be looking to draw stones in, change angles, give themselves a chance for a bit of a circus shot on the final stone to score a big end. Trying to keep it alive. Wants to reposition stones, and he's done exactly that. That's a great shot from Brett Sargon. Moves the red stone behind the tee line, changes the angles. Now, suddenly, those yellow stones have indeed accumulated. Just that gentle weight, that's all you need. Push the red stone on an angle. Sean Becker acknowledges it. Terrific shot. Sean and Bridget will be saying, really the only truly horrible result here is giving up 4. In this situation, you could even afford to give up 3. That would put you 1 up coming into the last with last rock. You'd like your chances. But under no circumstances could you countenance giving up 4. That's why he's taking a look at those center guards now, saying, I don't like the looks of all those yellow stones in the rings now. That feels like trouble. Shows you how good that shot of Brett's was. Really, for the first time since the first end. Really generating a lot of concern from Team Becker. Instead of electing to run back front stones, using the best defense is a good offense strategy, trying to get another one in there. Wants to get by that yellow stone. He's going to sit in front of it instead. So, game on. The way the stones are lined up now, and Brett's having a look at it. Look at red onto yellow. Does red-yellow clip the back red? I'm not sure if it's perfectly lined up. Brett's having a look at it. There will be a little bit of drag effect. If you hit the red stone on an angle, the yellow stone actually won't pop in a straight line. It will actually veer off course a little bit and potentially onto that red stone more directly. Players spend an awful lot of time looking at the angles and the contact points of frozen stones. There's a great look at it. It is actually lined up not too badly. And if Brett hits what he can see of that front red stone, they may indeed be able to raise the yellow onto the red and leave themselves lying 3 or 4. Can't catch it thin, though. Needs a good chunk of that front stone to get the action that he needs. Watching it closely. Waiting for it to curl. Is he by? Just by. Great shot. Terrific stone from Brett Sargon. Now they lie 3 covered. Here we see the drag effect. The yellow stone goes straight back, picks off the red, sits fully behind cover. And as quickly as that, Brett and Mhairi are back in business. Terrific shot. Well, go get your popcorn. This one's not over yet. Sean Becker. And now it's Team Becker into damage limitation time. Looking to redirect off the front stone, but he's going to go past it all the way through the rings. He's just looking to feather that outside stone and redirect into the center, but he goes past it, and great chance now. See Bridget trying to just hold the line. They were just looking to glance off that yellow stone and redirect into the center. Just a millimeter. Goes past and through. Brett could wrap another one behind the center guards in front of the button area. Could potentially set them up for 5. Huge shot here. You can get this one into an excellent position. You could almost lock away a 4. Needs to get behind cover. Can't be in the open. Can't go behind the tee line either. That is pretty good. Doesn't get fully behind cover, but he hides a corner. Duncan and Sargon lie 4, and they've got the hammer. Bridget Becker has had an unbelievably good game, and boy, she needs a huge one here. Facing 4, your opponent's got last rock. Brett was hoping to hide that one a little bit better than he did, so maybe 3/4 available for Bridget to hit. Wants to remove at least 1, maybe 2. Has she got contact? Gets 1, spills 2, but it's going to stick around, so it will be a draw for 4. Chance to tie this one up for Mhairi-Bronté Duncan. This is what mixed doubles curling is all about. Accumulate rocks, create possibilities, chance to score big ends. They scored 4 in the first. Can they score 4 in the 7th to tie this one up? 3 are already in the bank. Chance to score 4. Good news is they've got stones to use for backing. Just needs to be full or a piece of that white 8-foot circle. Hand in the air already from Brett. He likes it. That is absolutely spot on. Perfect. Terrific shot from Mhairi to score 4. And ladies and gentlemen, we are all tied up at 8 going into the final end of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. couldn't ask for a more exciting finish than this one, ladies and gentlemen. After 7 in the books, we are all tied up at 8. Now the decision for Sean and Bridget Becker. You've got the power play in your pocket. Do you use it in this situation to try and keep the center open to get your winning point? And that looks to be exactly what they're doing. The veteran savvy of Bridget and Sean Becker, they've held on to the power play, hoping that in this situation they'd have a chance to use it, and they do. The purpose of the power play for them in this situation, give themselves an easy final shot to try and win the game. For Mhairi and Brett, that means they'll have to spend a stone or two setting up center guards that they hope to use later in the end to hide behind to try and steal the winning point. Nice center guard there from Mhairi. Such big decisions on these early stones of the end because it can so often dictate the shape of the end. The choices you make with your first or second stone really do set the tone for how the rest of the end is going to play out. Sean Becker, Bridget Becker, they've got last rock. They've got the advantage here. They also have a decision to make. Sean's going to come down and have a chat with Bridget. Mhairi's just throwing a center guard. Do you throw a tick shot? Do you try to move that stone? Do you draw around the center guard? Do you go around the corner guard yourself? In this situation for them, it's all about creating a situation where they've got a straightforward shot for the win. They are electing to draw around the guard by the looks of it. This is a little risky if you don't execute well. And this stone is just a fraction heavy. And that is going to be a wonderful thing to see if you're Brett Sargon and Mhairi Duncan, because it's just behind the tee line. That means you can draw up to it, you can sit on top of it, and you could potentially set up your game-winning steal point if you make an excellent freeze shot here. Duncan and Sargon will be doing everything possible to try and get a stone behind cover close to or near the button, and this is the ideal opportunity to do that. Doesn't really need to tap the shot rock, but does need to be all the way up to it. Mhairi trying to drag this as far as she can. Has Brett got enough weight for the shot? That is a beauty. Fantastic shot from Brett Sargon. Corner frozen. Piece of the pin covered. Perfect weight. You're going to be super nitpicky. You would have loved it to curl another half a centimeter, but boy, that is a very good shot. Potentially the game-winning point. Sean Becker. Now it's blasting time. They don't want to see any guards at all in the center of the rings. Nice clear there from Sean Becker. Kills the center guard. And now it's going to be a cat and mouse game. Throw up a guard. Clear a guard. You can see Brett patting the ice. That's where he wants it to go. Just replace it. Easier said than done. Sean and Bridget, they'll be saying, if they throw up a guard, we're going to clear it. Make them make 3 perfect guards. And then the question is going to be, if they make 3 perfect guards, we make 3 perfect clears. And Bridget, you're probably going to have to draw the pin on your last one around those stones to win the game. That's in the future. This is the present. This is an attempted guard. Going to line it up in front of that yellow stone, directly in front of it. Covers half. That may not be good enough. That's a teaser. They're going to show them enough of that stone to tempt them into making a play on the shot rock. It's a good news, bad news situation for Sargon and Duncan. They have given Sean a piece of the target rock, so he might be able to pick it out. But even if he does do that, Sargon and Duncan at least have a center guard to go around themselves. Trying to pick out the shot rock. Oh, very nicely played from Sean Becker. Picks out the shot rock, but just as importantly, kills the stone behind it as well. So now there's nothing in the scoring area to freeze to. Very nice shot from Sean Becker. Kills the yellow, but also kills the red. And that red was going to be the dangerous shot for Becker and Becker. Even though it belongs to them, that was something that Brett and Mhairi could freeze to. Now that's gone. And now Brett Sargon trying to draw around the center guard. Coming down to the wire here in the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2020. We are live at the Mhairi-Bronté International Curling Rink in Naseby. Sean Becker, Bridget Becker. They've got last rock advantage here in the 8th, but that's a great come around from Brett Sargon. Right behind the center guard, right on the lid. Really, really nice shot from Brett. Well swept by Mhairi. Had to get completely behind cover, and they do. Look where it comes to rest. Right on the silver fern, right on the pin. No chance for Sean to pick that one out this time. It's fully covered. Well, this game has had a little bit of everything. Brett and Mhairi came storming out of the gate, scored 4 in the first. Sean and Bridget answered with a pair in the second, and then stole one to put themselves out 8-4. That was looking like lights out, but then boom. Brett and Mhairi came back with a 4 in the 7th. And now they're setting up here in the 8th to potentially steal the game and the championship. What a terrific final. Clearing weight being thrown here by Sean Becker. Trying to eliminate the center guard. Nicely played. Clears the center. Now, can you replace that guard with a guard that was just as good? Huge pressure here. To throw a perfect guard, you need perfect line, perfect weight. And if you're reading the line, the judgment of the last 4 or 5 meters of the trip are everything, because the stone curls more in the last few meters of the trip. So if you're trying to line up a perfect guard, you need to have great communications and great judgment of sweeping. Positive for Brett. You can use the center line as a little bit of a guide as to where it needs to come to rest. Hand in the air from Brett. That might be a fraction heavy. They want it to come to rest. Comes to rest, biting the top of the 12-foot, leaving a corner of that stone available for Bridget Becker. Not perfectly guarded, but well guarded. There's the hand in the air from Brett saying, just slow down. Slow down, come to stop. It's perfectly guarded now. We don't want it to curl anymore. Curls a fraction. They were tempted to sweep it up for second shot, but that was the right choice not to sweep it. 3/4, maybe 7/8 guarded. Bridget Becker may be able to see a corner of the shot rock. Sixteen teams started this competition. We're down to the final 2. There's been fantastic play all week, and just as you'd hope for a grand final, it comes down to the final shot of the competition, and it's in the hands of Bridget Becker. Nice guard thrown by Mhairi-Bronté Duncan for the final one. This is going to be a very difficult, high degree of difficulty final shot for Bridget. She can see a corner of the shot rock, trying to pick it out to win the game. She's got a piece. Will it stick around? Yes, it does. Terrific shot from Bridget Becker. Clutch final stone, just a quiet weight tap for the victory. Fantastic final shot from Bridget Becker. Bridget Becker, Sean Becker are your national champions, winning the grand final of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship with an unbelievable final shot. There's your final score. A wonderful final. Sean and Bridget Becker, 9-8 winners. They are your champions of New Zealand. Mhairi-Bronté Duncan, Brett Sargon did everything they could to make that final shot of Bridget's as difficult as possible. Guarded it up, just left Bridget a tiny corner to throw at. Bridget threw back 4-foot weight, just enough to get contact on the stone, rolled away from the button, but hung around for shot. Fantastic stone. And they are your champions. Here's another look at that final shot. She could see maybe an 1/8 of the shot rock. Had to throw quiet weight to get to it. Got contact, rolled, but hung around for the winning shot. Fist bumps all around, and the shot worthy of a champion. A terrific final. Sean Becker, Bridget Becker are the champions of the New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. And now we'll go down to Peter DeBoer at ice level to talk with our competitors.
First, Brett and Mhairi, congratulations on a brilliant game. Your first mixed doubles final. How did it feel for you?
It was good. We really enjoyed it. We just wanted to play our shots, have a bit of fun, and see where it took us. So we're happy to be here. Congratulations to Sean and Bid. They played really, really well. And yeah, really enjoyed it. A lot of fun.
And right down to the last stone, Mhairi. I thought
Yeah.
you thought you had it there.
For a minute we did when she looked like she'd missed it, but she played well.
Came up clutch.
Nice one.
Threw something under.
Congratulations, Sean and Bid. Well done. Brilliant
you.
final. I think that's number 8.
I have
Is it?
no idea. Yes, it is.
It's number 8. It is. Tell us about the last stone, Biddy. That was a great shot to win.
Yeah, well, I actually had deja vu because I've had that shot a few times in some of our competitions. So, but yeah, mine went blank, and I just thought, just throw the rock.
Well done. Well, you all played terrifically well.
It was
Thanks,
it was an amazing end. I think everyone made all the shots,
Yeah.
and it was great to watch.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it was a great spectacle for the fans at home as well. So well done.
Yeah.
Spectator sport.
What do I
Well
do
done.
with my hand?
That's why I was like, I'm going to hold on to this.
Well, you couldn't ask for anything more in a grand final than that. An amazing game. Sean Becker, Bridget Becker, 9-8 winners with a terrific final shot from Bridget Becker. Clutch performance for the victory. And they are your champions of New Zealand Mixed Doubles Curling Champions 2020. For the entire team, thank you so much for joining us, and so long from Naseby.